episode of Wear Many Hats. My name's Rachel, and this is the podcast dedicated to the FM and property industry. Today, we've got a fantastic guest who's come down with us from Cambridge, I believe. It's Alison Bunn. She is the Head of Workplace Services at the University of Cambridge. Welcome.
Hello.
It's so good to have you here. You know, I love having ladies on the show, obviously being female. So it's great to have you here and to hear your experience. We've chatted a little bit before the show.
We have.
So I know a little bit. And you sound like a really interesting person. So I'm really excited to hear about your how you got to where you got to. So did you come from far today?
So I actually stayed in London overnight because I was at the IWFM Awards last night. So
Fantastic.
which was really it's a great showcase for the industry.
It is.
Last night's awards were 25 years since they started.
Fabulous.
So, and that actually links into 25 years since I've been in the FM industry. So,
Brilliant.
which is just really good and really fascinating. But it was a great night. Lots of people there, lots of fantastic award winners. Gabby Logan was the compere. So she had some very interesting tales to tell us about some of the mishaps that have happened on live TV and things like that.
Brilliant.
So,
love Gabby.
But yes, it was really good. Good fun.
Oh, I love that. And what a way to celebrate your 25 years as well.
I know, exactly. It's kind of scary, really, because it makes you think, 25 years,
I know.
where did that go?
I know. You're going to tell us where it went. That's what's going to happen.
Don't feel old already.
I know.
It makes you feel older.
And do you know what's scary? We're a similar age. We've just discussed this, but we've got less time left in work than we've actually been in work. Oh, no. Retirement's looming, which I don't mind, to be fair.
No, I think the older you get, the more you go, actually, no, I quite like the idea of that.
Same,
so,
definitely.
As long as you can retire on your own terms.
That's it.
Definitely.
So let's chat and see where it all started for you. So let's rewind a bit.
Yeah.
How did you get to where you got to today? Where did you start?
So back when I was 18, I didn't really know quite what I wanted to do with my life. I knew I quite liked catering and the service industry.
Okay.
So I kind of went to university.
Yeah.
Got a degree in hotel and catering management.
Okay.
And then went straight into the hotel industry, which was immensely interesting. Also gave me my fear of lifts, because that's something else we talked about earlier.
We did. It's okay. I've got fear of bridges with water under them, so I can't do the Dartford Bridge. It's okay. I think I've mentioned that on the show before. Yeah, it's all good.
So I worked in hotels and then kind of morphed into contract catering. Worked at the Royal College of Surgeons, which is where I then got my real interest in buildings.
I saw this
buildings. Yeah. And then, as with most things, and certainly people our age, you don't start going, I want to work in FM, because when I started, no one really knew what FM was, and it was kind of in its inceptual stage. So I was working for a caterer, and as with all things, they lost the contract, and I got tupied over and then made redundant.
Okay.
So it was like, okay. So, and I think at that point I was in the crossroads of, well, what do I do? If I stay in catering, I'm going to go into more general management, which took me away from the day to day.
Yeah.
But then I saw a job at the Royal College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists, of all places.
I saw this.
Assistant FM.
Nice.
And so I applied, got it.
Lovely.
And kind of haven't looked back since, really. I love the industry. I love the job. I love everything we do. And then over time, I sort of stayed there. Then I moved to Cambridge.
Yeah.
Worked locally for Cambridge Regional College and then County Council.
Yeah.
And then at that point, I got the lure to come back to London.
I saw.
And working for the City of London Corporation, which is amazing. I mean, some of the buildings I've looked after is just phenomenal. So,
you were head of FM there, right?
Yeah,
assistant
absolutely.
director.
Yeah. Such a good role. So many nice buildings like Mansion House, the Old Bailey, Tower Bridge,
gorgeous.
Hampstead Heath, just such a myriad. So it had to be something special to lure me back to London.
Yeah.
So no, amazing. And then I kind of thought, I think COVID hit and knocked us all a bit for six, didn't it?
Yes, it did.
And then after that, it was like, well, okay, do I really want to go back into London and travel into London every day? wasn't that keen. I live about an hour away. So, and then this job at Cambridge came up, and I just thought, actually, I love Cambridge as a city, loved living there. So actually it was just kind of almost like perfect opportunity for me to go back where I wanted to be.
Beautiful up there, isn't it?
Yeah, amazing. Yeah.
I was born in Addenbrooke's.
Oh, really?
Hospital.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We lived in Saffron Walden. I don't know. I mean, obviously I was a baby.
Yes.
But yeah, I have been
cool.
up there. It is stunning, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just, and there's the whole mix of the colleges, the university, and it just, I know it's very town and gown because of course it is, but actually the university is so integral to how the town operates that it's just really interesting. And you're with the leading academics in the world, and things like that, and it just is a real eye opener. So yeah,
it sounds remarkable to be head of the workplace there, isn't it? What a fantastic opportunity!
It's an amazing job, and every day is different. It's so varied, and I look after predominantly all of the soft FM side of things.
Yeah,
but I run some of the buildings. I've gone. This is the first job for a long while that I've gone back to my catering roots. So I run the university catering service, which is just really interesting for me, and it actually takes me back to where it all began. And I love doing that. So
you've got that hat that you wear as well.
yeah. There's lots of them.
So obviously, we've touched on, did you know this is the path that you were going to end up on? But I guess not so, because you went into the hospitality side, and it's very common with a lot of my guests is that they fall into it somehow, and it's something that they really enjoy. And I guess that's technically what happened to you. Was there anyone that sort of gave you a push into it, or
I don't think there was anyone. I think I just realised I didn't want to do catering as in contract catering anymore.
Right.
I think it was, moving towards working for some of the more commercial companies that didn't really appeal to me, but I didn't want to lose the element of customer service and that delivery, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Because for me, that's what it's all about. It should be managing, like now we manage the student experience from beginning to end when they arrive within our buildings. And that's what it should be all about. It should be about offering that service. So for me, FM seemed to offer that.
Yeah.
And actually gave me an opportunity to carry on doing that, but also broaden my horizons.
Yeah.
So I've become quite a generalist over the years. I have many different, I'm a technical expert in certain things, but actually I'm a generalist and a people manager more than anything.
Yeah.
So that now I've built up a good team around me, and they're the ones that are then delivering that service. So
God, it's pretty remarkable, really, that you've worked your way up to that, and you're now. I mean, is there more ahead for, like where are you where you at, or is there more to?
I mean, I love my job.
Yeah.
I don't want. It's funny, my mum always laughs when she finds it strange that I move jobs it's roughly about every 4 to 5 years, something like that. But whenever I've moved, it's always been to the next level.
Progressed.
I've progressed in some way or another. But of course, my mum worked somewhere for a long while and doesn't quite understand that. It's a different generation, isn't it?
It is,
But no, I mean, I said to her the other week, I'm quite happy. I like working at Cambridge. I can see myself finishing my career here.
Love that.
So, but whether that is in my current role or whether there's another role.
Scope,
it really depends what happens. But I love my job. I'm very happy doing my job, and I feel like I'd be comfortable if this is it for the rest of the career. That's absolutely fine with me. I'm happy with that.
You're ahead of, so that's
exactly.
There's not much above that really, unless So I mean, you've done fantastic really over the span of your career. And being an ex-recruiter, I think you've done well staying in. I mean, you were 8 years at the City of London, this is your 3 years, 9 months where you are now. I don't think you've jumped around too much, Mum. I think she's done well, and she's progressed. That's what she's done. But yeah, well done to you. So let's talk about a day in your world. Obviously, you touched on it a little bit. What does it look like for you, a day? It's a fantastic place to work at the University of Cambridge. But what do you do?
So I think so my role is head of workplace services, which is basically running all the soft FM. So I have an FM team, I have a fleet, I have a grounds maintenance team, I have a catering team. I also have a team that runs the West Hub, which is for the university a revolutionary building, because it's based on West Cambridge. It's a 3-story building that's kind of designed for use for everyone.
Yeah.
So it's got a lot of collaboration space. It's got meeting rooms. It's used for teaching. It's got lots of catering in it. It's just this whole buzzy building that people and the students come to and just use it as they should do. We do events there. And, it's great because for me, that's kind of what the university is all about. You walk in and you see there's a queue for lunch because, the food is amazing. And, then you go upstairs and there's all these students sitting in their individual studying because that's what they're getting ready for their exams.
Yes, of course.
All of that kind of stuff. So, and, the university doesn't have a building like that across the rest of its portfolio. So actually, it's kind of been a game changer. It's only been opened as one of my first jobs when I arrived was to work with Anna, who's my ops manager there, and open it. And it was just a real good sense of, but in university style, you've got 8 weeks to do it. Right. Okay.
And you delivered.
And we did. Yeah. But and so those kind of buildings, or I have teams that run them. And of course we run them slightly differently to some of the smaller buildings. So yeah.
How many do you have actually working underneath you?
So I've got a team. My team is about 160.
Wow.
And I have 7 direct line reports.
Gosh, that's
a lot. So it's a lot, but one of my biggest things I always say is that actually I would say 80% of my time is managing direct line reports, because actually they're the technical experts in what they're doing.
Yes.
So I need to make sure that they can carry on, know what they're doing, give them direction, and then off they go and do it. And that to me is the bit that's most important. It's
of course
leading them and helping them deliver what they need to do.
Yeah, and I hear a lot from because obviously we've had quite a few people that are head of or directors of FM, and it is the team that the kind of make up the success of the building and how it's run and delivered, and so it's not just you on your own there, is it?
No,
that would be a lot on your shoulders.
And I wouldn't be anywhere without my team.
No, of course.
I consider myself like the kind of conductor, because actually I'm the one just holding things together and keeping it going, and bringing in those strands of the whole university and the bigger picture into their world, so they're aware what that is, so that but then also so that they can then deliver what they need.
Brilliant.
So, it's a good job.
You sound very calm as you talk about it, I'm sure. But let's talk about the challenges. What challenges is testing you right now? Is there anything in particular or something recently that you've dealt with?
Yeah, so one of the big so Cambridge is a collegiate university, so it has 31 colleges. So I work for the university, not the colleges. So we deliver services across the university. But of course, we have obviously a high student population. But the Students' Union have voted several times to have a solely plant-based cafe.
Okay.
Which is interesting because we are kind of we did a trial. It was only for a month, so it wasn't long enough to get any accurate information or data from it.
Okay.
But it's certainly something that we're being asked to quite heavily by the students. But of course, the university is all very much about, well, we want to offer choice for everyone.
Of course.
So if you offer that one particular style, then if someone doesn't want to eat that, then you're kind of excluding them. So this is the sort of the interesting challenges that we have. It's about making sure that we find that right balance. So I think what we potentially, if we do anything, is actually we'll just maybe do a pop-up that becomes a plant-based cafe on a site where there's everything else as well. So actually you can have a bit of a choice about where you go. So
I'm not plant-based.
No.
Definitely not. Sorry, anyone out there. I respect it, and I'm one of those, like, whatever. I think it's great. But yeah, no, it's not for me. I don't even really know what's in it either, so I don't want to go down that road. But yeah, fill me in, anyone.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd love to give it a try, maybe for a day. But yeah, I think you're right. You've got to strike a balance.
And we do have a sustainable food policy,
Love
which is
that.
great. But it doesn't go that far. But it does do things like we obviously look to reduce food waste.
Right.
We don't serve ruminant meat, so lamb and beef,
Okay.
because of their impact on the environment.
Love that.
So it's kind of
Yeah.
like we're actually, and I think we did that or the guys did that back in 2018. So,
Gosh, so
they
yeah.
were kind of pioneering in the university sector for that. And actually, I think we've got to a point where, we've got that happy balance.
Yeah.
And actually taking it a step further. Yes, we could do that, but we need to actually make sure that we're not taking away from other people as well. So
That's it. You've got to kind of cater for all, I guess.
Yes. Yeah.
And this is sort of heading on to the next question, actually, because we're talking about, where do we think the industry's heading and what excites you?
Yeah.
We've got AI, we've got ESG, you just touched on there, remote working, all tech, and what for you guys, where's it heading?
So Cambridge is very much, I would say, it's 816 years old, I think.
Gosh.
And that doesn't necessarily mean for everything it's quite in the 21st century like everyone else. So I think we've got certain things that we need to do, like, for example, having a proper asset list and all of that kind of stuff. All of that stuff is being worked on at the moment. So we're a little way behind the curve with probably some of the more modern organisations. But it's all good stuff, and we're all moving in that right direction. So
that's the most important part, isn't it? That we're, especially around ESG. I mean, obviously that's the buzzword, isn't it, at the moment? And I think I hear a lot of guests say, look, as long as we're all working towards that goal, which it sounds like you are anyway, just even what you were speaking about on sustainability. Yeah,
absolutely we are. And, it's all about getting the right balance, moving things forward. The university is quite governance heavy.
Yes,
so
I would have thought so.
Yeah. So at the City of London where I worked, it was exactly the same.
Yeah.
So when I kind of moved, I was sort of like, okay, I'm used to this.
Yes, which is great, isn't it, for you?
Because I think it's one of those things that you either can get on with that or you can't.
Yeah.
So I'm quite happy that, we know we're moving in the right direction, but it just might take us a bit longer to get there than actually something that's in the private sector. But that's fine. We're all okay with that. We've got we all acknowledge and accept that. So, yeah.
What about AI? Is that a friend or foe for you guys, or are you starting to use it, or are you?
We haven't really started to use it. I mean, I don't think we're particularly against it. I think it's just using it in the right context. So, I mean, one of the things that we would like to try and do is sort of reinvigorate our reception desk so that actually it's a bit more and I don't mean this in a way that we're talking about we don't need receptionists, because of course we do. Actually, do we need them to be sitting there welcoming people and logging them in? Whereas actually they could be doing something that's much more much more beneficial, if you know what I mean. So I think maybe there are ways that we can look at AI to actually be the meter and greeter of people when they come to a building, because then actually that frees the reception team up to do other things that might be more interesting for them. So,
but you're right in saying, again, it's about striking a balance of having, because we still do need that human interaction, don't we? It's so important.
Yeah, absolutely.
Obviously we're in labs. We've come in and you've. We chat to the ladies on reception here, and it's nice to see someone there. So I know what you're saying. But if they walk away from the desk, they're going off to do something, and then
and then you kind of like, and it's more about actually if someone walks in the building, then at least there's some way of greeting them rather than just walking in going, well, where is everyone? So,
that's it. So again, balance, isn't it?
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think everyone's starting to come back properly to the workplace now after COVID, I think. And some people want that human interaction. And we need to get back to providing that level of service, I think, the kind of way.
Yes.
So, while we were all sat at home working.
Well, I like to be around people. Like today in labs, it's a co-working space and serviced offices, and it's very quiet on a Monday and a Friday. And I said that to you, didn't I? It's quite quiet in here. I quite like it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, because I can get a nice little spot there, but when it's really busy in here, that's also great because you get to chat to people, and it is about human interaction, isn't it? Working from home isn't as wonderful as it seems. And I have done that, for 6 years. I was working on my own, and it's
right.
Got to get out.
I think that for me, I suppose because I'm an operational person, I do like, and that's the nice thing about the university, we have flexibility. So I'm not in every day, but I'm in 2 or 3 days a week. And what I do is the days of the week I'm in are the days when I have I meet my team, meet all my direct line reports. We have face-to-face, all of that. Because so the days I always, people say, do you do much work? And it's like, of course I'm working. I may not be answering emails, but actually I'm doing work because I'm talking to people. I'm doing that networking thing. Because for me, that's quite,
a face.
You have to do that to get, I need to know who to speak to within the organisation because to get things done and stuff like that. And actually the only way you build those up is by networking.
Absolutely.
So I think that for me, the days in the office are really productive because they are talking to people and being in those meetings that, where you're meeting people and making connections.
And then the at-home stuff is very much, that's when you're based on the computer doing all your admin and emails and, reports all the other things that we have to do, and it is, and at least that's the quiet time you'd like to think. As long as you don't get distracted like I do at home. I can get distracted, and I find coming into the office I don't. So
absolutely.
Again, it's a balance thing, isn't it?
It is, really is, and it's just it is that element of accepting that. I don't like being mandated when I need to go to the office.
Same.
Go in when I need to. I will always be there if I'm needed. But actually, also, it's nice to have a day at home where I can just sit and just get caught up for the week. I have this thing that by Friday evening, I like to have finished the week off properly and not have only, all of the... So I'm up to date with my emails. So when I start the following week, I'm starting afresh, not thinking I've got all of that stuff I need to do from that week. So from last week.
I don't think we burn out as much working that way as well. I think for companies, I think they're going to get more out of their employees with that balance again. It's this balance word. I keep saying it. We had a podcast the other week, and balance was the word of the podcast.
But it's true though.
It is.
Because I think we all need that element of, I know certainly so when I used to commute into London, I would be on the train at 6:30, in dark by 7:30, but now if I'm working at home, I'll often be sitting at my desk for 7:30. So actually the organisation is getting a lot more time
benefit
out of me. And I think
until later, or the other end,
the dead space of commuting. So
space of commuting. That's a really good way of looking at it.
Yeah.
Interesting. So, we spoke about COVID a little bit back there, and do you think the industry is innovating fast enough, or do you think we're still playing catch up? I know, obviously, you changed roles, didn't you? And how did that affect you? And do you feel like you've caught up with all of that now?
I think so. I think the biggest challenge coming out of COVID has been, certainly in my world, is catering. Because we couldn't, we literally, catering shut down overnight. It just stopped. And it didn't come back, I would think. We're now in a position, we've struggled all the time I've been at the university to recruit properly, because there's just not the market there for people who want to do that industry. There's a lot of people who were probably from the EU who then left at Brexit. So, we've just not got to a point where it's really revitalised. But actually, what I've been sort of saying since I started at the university, catering is so important. It is. Space where people meet, chat, talk, actually, if we can provide that for students and staff, then that brings that collaboration and that just meeting, just sitting and talking to people, So for me, that's been the slowest bit getting back, because cleaning, for example, as you'll know, it kind of started back again as soon as we were able to go back in the workplace.
Needs to be done.
It needed to be. It almost ramped up really because of the level of COVID. Whereas catering kind of just was like, well, people didn't bother with it because they didn't want to bring people together, which was understandable. But now we're like, actually, it's all about back. So for me, I think we're certainly Cambridge has a very unusual employment status anyway, because it pretty much has zero unemployment because it's a wealthy, affluent town. So actually, it was always going to be challenging to recruit cleaners, caterers, but the catering particularly really did suffer. We seem to have no chefs or anything like that. But now we've got people who are coming back into the market. It's like, oh, okay, that's good. So I think we feel quite buoyed about that now. And actually we're actually getting to a point where we can deliver the right kind of service that we want to, because actually we've got the people to do it.
Excellent. So you're catching up there.
Slowly but surely.
Yes, that's a good thing. So looking back at what moment or project would you say that you're still proud of, or even that's going on now?
I think I don't know whether I've got necessarily a specific project, but I was. It goes back to COVID because, of course, that dominated. But I was at the City of London when COVID hit, and I remember sitting in the office on whatever day it was in March. Was it 20th of March that year?
Yes.
I remember saying to my colleague, we were like, "Oh, okay, we need to go ready to home because we're not going to be coming back." And we were talking, and it was like, well, actually, let's we'll see you all in a couple of weeks. And then, of course, 6 months passed, didn't it?
Crazy, wasn't it? See you in a couple of weeks.
but
Who'd have thought?
I know, it was just so bizarre.
Insane.
And, we kind of, just little things like we had 24/7 security, so they were on site. They had to go around and empty the fridges because people had left everything in the fridges.
Oh my
goodness! Because they do, because it was just like So, but I was the property lead for the city for the COVID pandemic, so I sat on their silver team, and me, I mean, it was just a frantic time, and it was really hard doing it because you were at home, so the only means you had to talk to people was phone or
Teams,
and you couldn't, and and it was kind of, but I was really, that was just such a strange experience, but I was, we managed to do everything we needed to do. We shut the buildings down safely, we reopened them safely, and actually we brought the City of London buildings back to life, and I think that was something that it was just an interesting experience and something that will never be repeated again, I'm sure. So for me is kind of I'm pleased with it because it was such a unique thing to do.
That must have been, I always think about this when I speak to guests, and COVID does come up quite a lot, obviously. It must have been quite heavily on FM's shoulders. It must have fallen on you guys, and to be like, oh,
I remember
this is new.
We had this whole, when we first started, we had the whole thing about, well, can you who have we got as key workers who need to go in? Can we keep them safe and all of that stuff? And then we got, can you do a COVID testing centre? So all of this different stuff going on.
Yeah.
When we kind of were then able to open the buildings, we had to go through we had to create a checklist of, is it safe to open the building? Have we done all of this? Do you remember where we had to put in all the tape way around the building, way up to the stairs and all that stuff? And it was so all of that was going on, and it was just like, and it was because the expectation, quite rightly, from people was, I want a safe working environment to come back to, and that really did sit on FM's shoulders to deliver that.
Yeah, I just sitting here thinking as you were talking, like that is a lot on you guys for considering it was new to everybody, and like, what do we do?
And we were learning like everyone else. Going, well, what's the right thing to do? And the government guidance on certain things was a bit flaky, and and about, well, what do we do? Do you wear masks? Do you not? All of that sort of stuff. And in the end, I think we kind of just came to the conclusion that we sort of said, well, we're going to follow the guidance to a degree, but actually we're probably going to be more robust in the guidance so that actually people feel more comfortable.
That's it.
Yeah.
Well
Yeah.
done on that, though. That's a lot to deal with, wasn't it? Well done.
It was.
Oh,
But so unique because I doubt. Well, I certainly hope not to go through
just.
that again in my life.
But at least we know
Yeah.
if we have to how to deal with that. I mean, I was working from home, so
Yes.
for me it was,
Yeah.
you know, it wasn't too bad. I didn't have to do anything in my house. Yeah. So, well done. It was that must have been quite heavy going. So what's something you wish you knew when you were starting out?
I suppose I learned quite early on that you kind of have to pick your battles a bit.
Nice one. Like that.
Certainly because you can't, it's really hard because you're striving towards what you want to deliver and all of these. I want, this is the right thing to do, but not necessarily everyone's going to agree with that. So you're like, okay, that's fine. And I think for me, rather than trying to do everything and try and get where I needed to go at speed with everything, it was about actually just working out what is really important and what isn't, and what can be kind of parked a little bit.
Yeah.
And actually, I want to keep going with that. Like, for example, we've just brought in we haven't brought in, we've made a food safety policy, we've revised it and then made it a university-wide policy. That's taken me kind of 3 years to do that.
Yeah.
But I knew it was so important. So actually, every time we got to a sort of a point where it's like, okay, it was like, no, I'm not going to give up. I'm going to keep going because actually this is really important. So actually, I know that it took time, but I kind of accept that now, that actually there's some things are important and need to keep going, but there are other things that it's like, well, okay, that's fine. I'm not actually going to worry about that too much because it's out of my control. Can't do anything about it. So I'm just going to accept that that's just how it is.
Well done. I struggle with that. I think anything time management has never been one of my. But I'm not great. I something comes in and I feel like I need to do that, and then I have ADHD. I've been diagnosed recently.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm like, now at least I know. I know why I'm like the way that I am.
Yes.
So I do struggle in trying to prioritize.
Yeah.
And then I always manage to meet the deadlines.
Yes.
But it's a battle in my brain as to what's the most important. So well done. I almost envy you that you can actually do that, because it's quite frustrating not being able to do that.
I can imagine actually.
It is
because I mean I think I have a very orderly brain, so
don't
my brain
left.
cannot. I have to know what. That's what kind of one of the reasons why I have to finish the week off. I know there'll be some bigger things that I'm working on, but actually all the kind of small stuff, as I call it, I want that finished and done so that I can start the following, because otherwise my brain just can't deal with it.
I must admit, I do have to make sure that I've done everything that I need to do before the week closes, so that that is one thing, but whether it goes in the right order or not is another thing. Like I say, well, I managed to get to the age of 50 and still manage it somehow.
Yeah.
I love that though. I wish I had an orderly brain. I love that. Excellent. So if someone came to you tomorrow saying, I want to do what you do, what would you say to them?
I would say absolutely yes. It's a rewarding profession. It's but you have to. I think it's important to kind of come into it from a specific trade or something, if you know what I mean. I think whilst I'm, as I was saying earlier, I'm very much a generalist now.
Yeah.
I do have, obviously catering's my background.
Yeah.
So, but I think it's important that people have that kind of specialist subject, but then also then realise that actually they can adapt those skills to actually become more of a generalist.
I've spoke about this previous guest that FM is quite huge. You've got a lot of areas to it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So maybe find what best suits you and your,
and what you enjoy doing.
Yes.
It's really important. I mean, I love catering, I love cooking, I started off way back when I used to earn my pocket money by making dinner for my family.
Yes.
That's kind of where it all comes from. And so for me, that's really, and that's why I'm really pleased I'm back looking after catering.
Oh, I love that.
So long. So, but I think it is such a wide field. You're never going to become a specialist in all of it.
No.
So pick the area that you like, build yourself up in that, and then branch out into the wider FM world, because actually by that point you'll have gained your skills of how you can manage teams and people, and actually then you get people like I now have who are the specialists who then work for me as the generalist.
Yes,
So,
and then they're specialists. Yeah. It's very broad.
Yes, absolutely. And I think it's a great industry to be in. I think it's so diverse. There's so many different things going on that actually it's never.
And for me, I mentioned this when when we first come on the show. It's great to see females in the industry.
Yeah.
It's not a question on here, but for women, I think there is no reason as to why we can't do this. There's we weren't saying there's no physical aspects of a role where you may need to be stronger, or even then, women are in construction, and it's more and more acceptable. So women get involved is what we're saying.
It's just a great, and I think we as women, we're kind of probably a bit more attuned to the service industry anyway.
Yes.
Because of our softer nature and that, and our
empathy,
kind of empathy,
emotions.
Yes. So actually, that's a really good fit. For the FM world, because I know that there's still this thing. If you're a hard FM, you're often male, which is fine, and soft FM female. But actually, lots of us women can prove that you can still manage hard FM, even though you're not a technical expert.
Absolutely.
So I think I think our personas and the way we are actually lend itself to delivering FM, because actually, ultimately, depending on, even if you're in if you're a service provider, you're delivering a service, and I'm delivering, even though I'm client side, I'm delivering a service to the staff and students of Cambridge University.
So that's it. You've heard it here first, and there have been other ladies on the show which say a very similar thing.
Yeah.
Some are extremely thick-skinned, I think, to be in a room full of men working, and we've had some ladies on here talking about that.
Yeah.
Because it's not necessarily an easy role, I wouldn't have thought, if you're with all the challenges that you get.
Yeah, I think, and also, I mean, I'm, as I said when we talked about doing this, I'm naturally an introvert, so I'm not one who will be the life and soul of a meeting.
Yeah.
And I think because of that, I think people often think that they mistake who I am. And actually you do have to have that element of, no, actually this is me, and I'm making the final decision here. And you just do it in a way that actually, no, this is me, this is my job title, this is what I'm here to do. So it's my decision on how this happens. And
love that.
I think you just have to be that kind of assertiveness. So
that's a good bit of advice, actually, isn't it? So let's switch off from work. What do you do outside your day job?
Of course I love cooking. Yeah. I also I like walking as well. I've just come back from a walking holiday in Kefalonia and Ithaca, the Greek islands, which was amazing. We did it was a walking group, so there was about 16 of us. We did about 55 miles over about 6 days. So
my goodness.
And it was amazing. It was because what I realised is that I live in Essex. It's very flat.
Yeah.
So whereas Kefalonia is not, it's quite up and down. So I realised that next time I go on a walking holiday, I need to do a bit of practice up hills and down hills. I need to find some in Essex somewhere.
Yeah, I have no idea. I'm from Kent. I think that's pretty flat as well, actually.
Most of East Anglia is flat.
Yeah.
And that east side of the country.
You might have to go up north a little bit.
Yeah.
Do Mount Snowdon or something.
Yes.
That's over in Wales, that side, isn't it? But I'll maybe get some practice in. Yeah. How wonderful.
So it was a beautiful, lovely holiday. The weather was great. And it just made me, it was just really nice to see a different part of both islands, because we were walking in kind of lots of times in the middle of nowhere.
How lovely.
It's amazing. So,
And good for mental health, I think.
Yeah, very good.
Getting out in the open. And
exactly. Yeah, and being fit.
Free.
And it's great because it was an opportunity to kind of pretty much eat what I wanted. I love the Greek food anyway.
Me too.
So it's just, could live on that forever. So it was a lovely holiday.
It's a good diet. I've just got back from Crete. A lot of fish.
Yes, and a lot of Greek salad, obviously.
Correct, so. And oils and honeys, and they've got some beautiful food.
Yes, yeah.
So, what do you like to cook? Is there anything in particular, or are you?
No, I'll try anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like to cook.
I've got quite a lot of recipe books. I'm one of these people though, probably because I have training as a chef, I'll read it and I'll be like, I don't know whether that will quite work.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of I sort of probably cause problems for myself, because instead of following the recipe,
You want to adapt it.
I want to adapt it. Whereas actually what I should be doing is going through it, following it the first time at least, and then going, well, that
I would have
didn't
added
work
that,
for
yeah.
whatever reason. But no, I try and do it as I go along. So sometimes I've had some not great
Well,
outcomes.
this is what we say, isn't it? You've got to try things and experiment. You be a bit risky. I like it. I love cooking.
Absolutely.
And it's good that you're walking it off as well.
Exactly.
So last question, what's the best bit of advice you've ever been given?
That is a really good question. I think it probably comes back to my earlier comment about pick your battles.
Yes.
I think that was such a good piece of advice that one of my first mentors in FM said to me, and I just thought it's so appropriate, and it just still resonates to this day.
Yeah.
And it's just actually just being, and it's not so much because I don't mean it in the term of battles as in you're constantly fighting conflict. It's about actually working out what you really need to push forward, and actually what can still go forward, but at not such a pace.
That's your logical brain again, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah.
Orderly. To pick your battles. My dad used to say that to me. Yeah, I love that. Thank you so much, Alison. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the show.
No problem. It's been great. Thank you.
I wish you all the best in your continued journey with the University of Cambridge, and keep doing a fantastic job up there. And hopefully I'll try and get up there and see you guys.
And see us. Yeah, absolutely. We've got lots to show you.
Brilliant. If anybody wants to reach out to you on LinkedIn, are they okay to do that?
Yeah, absolutely fine. Yeah, I'm all on LinkedIn. And, just send me a message and I'll get back in touch.
Lovely. Thank you so much, and enjoy your weekend. Cooking and walking and
whatever else is in store.
That's it. Beautiful. Thank you so much. And that's the end of today's episode of Wear Many Hats, the podcast totally dedicated to the FM and property world. So if you can you share and pass this on to friends and family and associates that are looking to get into the industry. And that's it. Until next time.